My name is Pat Foley and I'm the Vice Chair of Geashill Tidy Towns. I think back in 2015 when we decided, yes, we will try to make some changes in our mowing regime. We will try to leave some space along the edges of the entrance roads into the village. There was a bit of bemusement. People were unsure, is this not going to look unsightly? Will it not lose us marks? And even on that first year, we began to see the wildflowers that reappeared through those lovely edges, unmown edges. We still carefully manage just a strip next to the roadside so that people can walk safely. But now people were beginning to see that in a matter of months, this could bear fruit. They could see the results of it. And I think that gave us the confidence to try and introduce more measures. Tidy Towns has redefined itself. Just the change from an emphasis on orderliness and tidiness, there's much more of an emphasis now on biodiversity and on sustainability. There is this perception of the annual bedding plant, the begonia, the petunia, and this crisp tidiness. But that's a wasteland, that's a desert for pollinators, and that isn't what Tidy Towns is about anymore. It's almost as if the pollinator plan has reminded us to look back and to try and remember from our own life's experience what way things were. It's only when we see the stark figures of half of the number of bee species declining since 1980, of the threat that a third of the bumblebee species face in the next number of years. I think that has focused our minds. How do we plan for the future? And that's what we've been trying to do in the village here. We've been trying, I think almost everything we do now is through the prism of biodiversity and in particular pollinators, because we do see how vitally important it is, not just in terms of agriculture and in terms of our food production, for which it's incredibly important, but also in terms of all of the wild plants around the country, 3/4 of which are pollinated by bees and other pollinating insects. So it's made us acutely aware of that, and we've seen our role now as trying to do something about that in our own little village. I had somebody recently who came who had seen the unmown area behind Hamilton's pub, the beautiful circle, and said, I used to mow my grass every week. It's a waste of time, it costs money, and I have to try and find some place to dump the grass. Now I'm just mowing a strip around the edge. It's much easier, I'm saving fuel, I'm saving time, and I know that I'm creating a habitat for ground nesting bees, and I'm also providing them with food.
I think it's been a learning curve like everything else, because a lot of those flowers are not necessarily as striking visually, especially from a distance, and that would have been something that people find very important. But I think through education, through understanding a little bit more about why we have those flowers there and what is the importance of them, through the work we're doing through social media, through just talking, word of mouth, through the school especially, that's been amazing. That education piece has really brought people around to, I think, really appreciate these flowers and plants more and more, And what we find is that people now are starting to include them a little bit more in their own gardens. So people will still use the annuals, the petunias and the geraniums, and that's fine, but they'll start to include a little bit more pollination planting around the place. And that, I think, is really, it really shows us that people are starting to appreciate them and understand them a lot more.
This year we were nominated by Tidy Towns for the Best Kept competition, and we won the Best Kept Village in Ireland. So again, that now gets across to people, you can be the best kept village in Ireland, and you can still be the place that is viewed as being really good for pollinators, because you don't manicure everything religiously. So I think that's a vindication of where Tidy Towns is heading and where more and more Tidy Towns groups are following.